Hi and welcome to another Green Living tech session on the Fyes home automation system. Today I'm going to show you how to put together a small system and how easy it is to program a few light scenarios. So we're going to start by adding some devices to our project. We're going to add a DIN rail controller to start with. And we'll call this DIN rail controller 1 and we'll give it the same net name. We'll give it a branch ID of 0 and a unit ID of 1. What we'll do down here is we'll go in and we'll label some of the relays on this, and we'll call the first one, we'll call it kitchen center light. And we'll call the next one pantry. What we'll do is we might whack a dimmer in here as well. Over here I'll go kitchen dimmer. Alright, so that gives us enough to create 3 different light scenes there. So we'll okay that. Now we need a keypad to control these from. So I'm going to add a glass wall pad 60. So these little numbers here next to these settings 3341, these are the digital analog inputs. So even the keypads have inputs on the back of them, and you can assign them either 3 analog, 3 digital, 4 digital, 1 analog, and so forth. So I'm just going to go with 6 digital, 0 analog for the time being. We'll discuss those more advanced functions in later tech sessions. Alright, we'll call this kitchen KP1. Now here we only have, under the net name, we only have 6 digits that we can fill in, you can see there, and there can't be any spaces. So what we'll do is we'll give that kitchen 10. What I like to do is separate my controllers to where my keypads start by a factor of X, and usually I start all my keypads at 10 and all controllers before that. So if you have a system that has 8 controllers, if you ever needed to put another one in, you can label it as 9. Not that it makes any difference, the system doesn't care what the labeling is, but it does just more for consistency and make it nicer for the end program. Alright, so now on this one, the first button on the top left is the first button on the top left is button 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to say we'll make this our kitchen on off. Then beside that, so the next 2 buttons across that on the top row are going to be buttons 10 and 15. We'll do this one as kitchen dim down and kitchen dim up. The next one below our kitchen, we're going to we'll label that kitchen center, and that'll be an on-off, and we'll do the one below that as well as pantry. Alright, wonderful. So that's all we're going to do for now. Click OK. So we've created our devices for our program. Now we're going to go and create some some scenarios. There's a number of ways of doing scenarios. You can either do it manually by actually saying if this happens. So for example, if a button is pressed or released, then do X. But as we have a number of templates in the system, we're going to utilize some templates right now. We're going to open up our templates, and we are going to use some of the Green Living automation templates that I've created. And under here there are a number of different types of functions we can use. So the one I'm going to use now is just a standard dim on off with 3 buttons. No sensors, no auto lights on, just very basic. And we'll call this kitchen dimmer. And we're going to say our button on. There's our kitchen keypad, and there's our on button. Our indicator, okay, so I forgot to actually label that. So what I can do is go into that, right click, and go kitchen LED. There we go. Our dim up button. We'll scroll down here, dim down, dim up. And we'll put a rate of 8. What the rate is from a dim rate of 0 to 100, how many seconds should it take to get there? I find 8 is a good value for dimming your lights up and down. Dim down button. Eight again. Which dimmer are we dimming? So the dimmer is on a controller, kitchen dimmer, and a condition flag on the same controller as the dimmer, just to let the system know when the light is on or off. Kitchen light on flag. Call that. You can call it absolutely anything you like. Alright, wonderful. So that is it. So I'll just check that, make sure everything's okay, and I will save that. Now, if I was to actually, I'll just make a copy of this and I'll show you what's involved in this. So if I was to actually expand this out now, if I was to make this up as a manual process, not using the templates, these are all the different components that go into it. So first, if a button is pressed, then we have an if then else statement. If the kitchen light flag is on, then dim down, else dim up. We have the same here for our kitchen dim up, and you can see here we also have a release button for the kitchen dim up. These two have exactly the same function in here. Dim up for button pressed, and in button released, dim up again for button released. By sending the same function actually stop the dimming. And the bottom, and then we've got the same for dim down, and then down here we say if a dimmer turns on, let's turn on the kitchen flag and turn on the LED on the keypad, and vice versa for when the dimmer turns off. Clear the flag and turn the LED off. Alright, so I've shown you how that would have been done if it was a manual process. I now want to delete, I'll find the right button. Using this on a Mac, so you can normally just press the delete button. Delete. Now we're going to add another lighting function, but this is just going to be a relay on-off function. Manual. We're just going to do a toggle relay. We're going to call this kitchen center. Which button? We're going to use our kitchen center button. We're not going to use an IR command. IR can be used to send a command to the keypad via a universal remote. Relay is on our DC controller. Indicator is on our keypad, and it's LED 4. Timer to off, scenario off button. So these are optional extras you can use within this particular template. You don't need to. You can see if you do a check, it allows you to save that and function as normal. The timer off allows you to actually add another function where you could, by setting a relative timer of some sort, you could actually tell it to turn this light off when that timer expires. For now I'm just going to leave it as that normal on-off button. Alright, great. I hope you've enjoyed this session. We'll do more of these sessions as time progresses, and thanks very much for your time.